with us now. We're talking Cowboys and Chiefs. Cowboys offense touted as one of the best in the league. The Chiefs defense did not care. They dominated this game start to finish. They picked Dak Prescott off twice. They sacked him 5 times. Pro Bowl D tackle, we were just talking about it last break, Chris Jones had 3.5 of those sacks on his own. And on a day when Patrick Mahomes turned the ball over twice, the Chiefs defense bailed him out. They were the driving force behind the 19-9 win over Dallas. So, Mike, what did the Chiefs prove in their win over the Dallas Cowboys?
They proved that they're getting better on defense, and they're playing with a lot more confidence, a lot more swag, and I think it's in part to Frank Clark and Chris Jones being healthy. You know, that stretch of games where they lost those games, those guys weren't on the field or being effective. Over the last 4 games in which they won, you know, they've been the main focal points on defense. And when your defensive line is playing better, you know, they make everybody play better in the back end. Your defensive backs tend to get more pass breakups, more hands on the ball, more interceptions, more passes defended. And, you know, it's obvious that, you know, as a group collectively, they're buying into what Steve Spagnuolo is selling. His defense gets better as the years goes on. That's been his track record. He always start out slow. You know, they always stutter a little bit, and then they find their way. Right now, they're hitting their groove and peaking at the right time of the year. And those 2 guys, Frank Clark and Chris Jones, have been the main reasons that those guys have been able to get penetration, get sacks, harass quarterbacks, and cause turmoil on the offensive side of the ball versus their opponents. So, you know, they're getting their confidence back. You know, obviously this has to continue, but, you know, this is a team right now, like I say, they're ascending at the perfect time of the season.
I lost my audio there for a moment, so I didn't hear the end of Vick, so maybe we can fix that, but I can answer the question all the same while we get that fixed, just so you guys know. So here's the situation. Apologies if I can't respond to what Mike said at the very end there. The Chiefs are back where they should have been all year, and if not for self-inflicted wounds and injuries we didn't talk enough about, they would have been. And that is as the unquestioned favorites in the AFC. And I think you can make a really strong argument that of the last 4 years, this right now is the most dangerous Chiefs team. The first year with Mahomes, they had an objectively terrible defense that only had one way to beat you. The next year, when they won the Super Bowl, Mahomes went down with a scary knee injury early in the year, and they hadn't yet shown you the Super Bowl or the playoff medal. They showed it on the playoff run when they had the 3 consecutive 10-plus point comeback victories. Last year, they looked like far and away the best team in football, going 14-1, but then they had all those offensive line injuries, and so they went into the Super Bowl undermanned. Right now, they played the 2nd hardest schedule in the entire NFL. The only team that's had a hardest schedule is Seattle. How's that worked out for them? They already went through the heartache of Mahomes having his first slump. They came out on the other side. They went through the heartache of that's the worst defense ever. And they're 7-4. They're really only looking up in the standings at the Titans. And right now, Wilds, when you look at the AFC as a whole, if the question about the Chiefs is, why isn't the offense better? I'm just curious. Who in the AFC are we looking at like, well, we trust their offense? Have we watched Josh Allen lately? Your Patriots are starting a rookie. The Titans still have Ryan Tannehill and have looked like a totally different team since Derrick Henry went down. The Ravens, God love the Ravens, but Lamar gets sick more than any star athlete I've ever seen, and that defense is bad, and they've had far too many close games. The Chargers tried to blow another game yesterday. Like, we're not yet to Thanksgiving. The Chiefs went through an awful month of defense, an awful month of offense, and they sit here at 7-4, healthy, going into a bye, and won't be on the road again until December. So I'm not sure what the flaw in the team right now is, Wilds, because I don't see one.
Just for the audio engineers, my audio also off because I thought that Nick was, it sounded like Nick was saying like a team that scored 19 points was, you know, was a dominant. So if you could also get that fixed, just sorry to bring some technical stuff into the show. We're sorry. I just was thoroughly not impressed. A win is a win, and you know I'm a quarterback win guy. But it felt like the Cowboys thought they were playing the old Chiefs. Because when the score was 9-0, with 8 minutes to go in the first quarter, it was like, oh, boy. It is going to be a long night at Arrowhead. And it wasn't. Just scored 10 more points for the whole game. Scored 3 points in the entire second half. So, look, you know my loyalty falls with the Patriots just a little bit. But am I scared of this Chiefs team like I used to be scared of the Chiefs teams of old? No. And I'm not trying to, like, troll or be difficult to be on the show. But what is so scary about this Chiefs team that put up 19 points against the Dallas Cowboys? Defense, Chris Jones played great and blew up Kellen Moore's game plan. But what was so scary about that offense last night? Because I didn't see it.
Well, Wiles, let me be the steady hand when it comes to the Chiefs. Because Nick, look, they're his childhood team. He's from Kansas City, hometown. All he knows is Kansas City. So he gets too emotional about his Chiefs, and he goes to extremes. All right, first they're going to go 20-0. Then they're 3-4, and he's hitting the all-out panic button. Now they're flawless, okay? They beat Dallas 19-9. Yeah. Now they're flawless, okay? Ooh. Let me be the steady hand. And Nick made some sense. I'm with you to a degree, Nick. And Wiles, here's what I'll tell you is scary about these Chiefs. Is because now that Patrick Mahomes is more comfortable taking what the defense gives him, throwing the ball underneath, their drives tend to be longer, right? The run game, especially now that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is back, the run game is going to be strong. And yesterday, they used it, 26 carries, I believe, for the team. So they ran the ball. That helps the defense. The defense is Chris Jones and Frank Clark being back and healthy and back to Pro Bowl form is great and all that. And that's real. But they're also being helped because the offense isn't scoring in, 55 seconds every possession. And so they're not on the field as much. They're not getting worn down as much. So I don't think they're there yet, Nick. But they are getting there. If they just got to continue playing like this, Mahomes, do the ball control, but then get your big stuff because it's the underneath stuff is gonna open up the big plays. And then you got a running game and your defense is protected and playing better. They're playing kind of complementary football better than ever. So that's where you could be right, Nick.
Listen, the 20-0 thing I was off on. But everything else I've said about the Chiefs this year has been consistent.
3-4 panic mode.
I was furious after the Titans game. It was an awful game where they looked like they didn't practice. So I was honest about that. And they didn't look good against the Giants offensively. But we continue. It's evaporating goalposts for folks that want to deny the undeniable. That is right now, not in Nick Wright's view, but in Vegas bookmakers' view, that they're the overwhelming favorites to go to the Super Bowl for the third straight year. Because if the invisible wand you're trying to grasp now is, I don't trust the offense, okay, have fun with that. Mike, I'd ask you, of any team in the AFC, down 4, 2.5 minutes left, got to go get a touchdown, is there anyone even close to the Chiefs in terms of trust, in terms of fear it instills in the opponent? Because that happens in the playoffs. Anybody?
Yeah. No, absolutely not. You got Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. That combination within itself it is going to generate instant offense and generate success. What I do think the Kansas City Chiefs are still missing is that one game breaker at receiver. Outside of Tyreek Hill, I think once that unfolds, I think that they put themselves in a position where they can contend for a Super Bowl. Certainly the AFC Championship game, but put them in a position where they can compete to go to another Super Bowl. So I'm waiting to see if it's going to be, Gordon or if it's going to be McCole Hardman. Who's going to be that guy to replace Sammy Watkins? I've been saying it for the last couple weeks. I'm still thinking that's going to take